In this video, we look at how we can apply the laws of exponent that we have learned in the previous grades. I should warn that this video requires that you must have watched the previous video, which was a revision of the laws of exponent, so that you could be able to recognize a certain law of exponent that is applicable to a certain question that we are going to be solving in throughout this video. Okay, so without any further waste of time, let's get into it. So the first thing that we could do with this on this question is I know that 16 can be written as 2 to the power 4, and also I know that 1 over x cubed, as we have seen in the previous video, is equal to x to the power of 3. Okay, using these now, if I may put them aside, using the 2, now this is what I could do. I could write 16, instead of 16 I would write 2 to the power of 4. Now, instead of x to the power negative 4, I would simply put the dot, which stands for multiplication, and say x to the power of 4, and then raise everything to the power 3 over 4 as our exponent. So I know now the next step would be to what? Would be to distribute the exponent throughout. So when we apply that law, what we would get is that we would have 2 to the power of 4 distributing the 3 over 4. Now we'd get 3 over 2 to the power 4 to the power 3 over 4, and x to the power of 4 in brackets, and that to the power 3 over 4. Okay, so now I know that when I have a power of power, what I would do is I would multiply the exponent, and when I do that, I get that the 4 will cancel the 4 over there, and I would be left with something like 2 to the power of 3. For the x part of things, I would now get that 4 again cancels the 4 over there, and I'll be left with x to the power of 3. And now I know that my 2 to the power of 3 now is equal to 8, and I could write 8 like that, and x to the power of 3 remains as x to the power of 3, and my final answer now would be 8 times x to the power of 3. And we're done with this question, and we get whatever mark that we deserve, okay, which is a full mark in this case. Coming on to this one now, first of all, this is what I know. I know that, if I may use the blue on this one, I know that 8 could be written as 2 to the power of 3, right? And 27 could be written as 3 to the power of 3. Okay, so using this, let me put that aside. Using this, I now should apply the law of exponent, which is the law of fractions, right? So the law of fractions tells me that I can distribute the outside exponent into the numerator and also into the denominator. So doing that now, I would write the 8 as 2 to the power of 3, and the 27 now would be 3 to the power of 3. Okay, and then everything raised to the power of negative 4 over 3. After doing that now, I need to distribute the outside exponent into the numerator and the denominator. So when I do that, this is what I get. I get 2 to the power 3 times the exponent, the outside exponent, which is the negative 4 over 3, all that divided by 3 to the power of 3, also to the power of negative 4 over 3, as you can see. So now when I apply the power of power law, I can see that the 3 and the 3 over there cancel out. Same happens over here. The 3 and the 3 over there cancel out. And so now what I would be left with is 2 to the power negative 4 all over 3 to the power negative 4. But what do I know? I know that x to the power of negative m is equal to add 1 over x to the power positive m. And I also know that 1 over x to the power negative m is equivalent to x to the power positive m. So I can apply that law now to take the 3 to the to make it 3 to the power negative 4 a numerator and 2 to the power of negative 4 a denominator. When we do that now, oh, my apologies, I should put my equal signs over there. Okay, so when I apply those laws now, this is what happens. I get that 3 to the power of 4 over 2 to the power of 4. You should realize that now the exponents are no longer negative, but they are both positive. So to change the 3 to the power negative 4, we used this law to get the positive, and to change the 2 to the power negative 4, we used this law over there. Okay, let's move on to our next question and see what happens. Okay, so what I do now is change the 25 and write it as 5. Okay, let me do that. Let me move it over there. So let's first change the 25 and write it as 5 to the power of 2. And the 4 again could be written as 2 to the power of 2, okay, which is 4 squared. And so by so doing now, we can again convert our fraction now. Would now be writing 5 to the power of 2 over 2 to the power of 2, and then everything raised to the power negative 3 over 2. You get it? Okay, the standard procedure is now to distribute the outside exponent over there. Okay, so let's do that. We get that we have 5 squared raised to the power negative 3 over 2 all over 2 squared, all that to the power of 2 of negative 3 over 2. Okay, so we move on now. We see that the 2 and the 2 cancel out, and the 2 and the 2 over there cancel out. So we are now left with 5 to the power of negative 3, all that divided by 2 to the power of negative 3. Again, I know that x to the power negative m is equivalent to 1 over x to the power positive m. And I know that 1 over x to the power negative m is equivalent to x to the power negative m. Okay, so let me apply that law here, and what I get out is that 2 to the power of 3 over 5 to the power of 3. So would be done by so doing. Okay, let's move on to the next question and see what it got for us. Okay, so in this question over here, we have 0,008. All right, so I know that 0,008 is equivalent to 1 over 125. Okay, all that raised to the power negative 2 over 3. All right, so what I can do now in the next step is to turn the big number. It's always the big number that you can turn into a simple thing and try to cancel something in the exponent. Okay, so I know I can turn 125 into 5 to the power 3. Okay, so if I do that, then I would get that 1 over, sorry, I keep forgetting my equal signs. I get that 1 over 25 is now equivalent to 1 over 5 to the power of 3. Okay, all that raised to the power negative 2 over 3. Okay, so the next standard procedure is to what? Is to distribute our exponent, the outside exponent now. So when we do that, we get 1 to the power negative 2 over 3 and divided by 5 to the power 3, all that to the power negative 2 over 3. You get it? Okay, we move on now. we know that 1 raised to anything at all, no matter how many times you multiply 1 by itself, you'll still get a what? A 1. Okay, so applying that rule, then we know that at the top we have what? We have 1. Okay, 1 remains 1, but at the bottom here we see that 3 cancels out the 3 over there, so that we are left with 5 to the power negative 2. Okay, so again applying that law, we know that 1 over x to the power negative m is equivalent to x to the power positive m. All right, so when we apply that law now, what we get is that this would be 1 times 5 to the power 2, which is 5 squared, which is equivalent to a 25. So we get 25 as our final answer. So that's the end of this video and the end of our questions. So please do watch the next video, as we will be looking at the more complex questions that need us to apply the laws of exponent and see all the laws of exponent now in action. Thank you so much for watching this video, and please don't forget to subscribe and share with your friends. Cheers. Bye bye.